Los Angeles County continues to deal with the fires. Many are still criticizing the leaders for its response and devastation. 4 months ago, President-elect Donald Trump appeared on Joe Rogan. He said something that reignited national discussions about critical issues like California's water crisis and the failure of leadership to prioritize citizens over special interests. Listen.
He said, "We have no water." I said, "Do you have a drought?" "No, we don't have a drought." I said, "Why don't you have no water?" "Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land. Water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
we'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that are fallen.
Now, this conversation confirmed what many, including Josh Macciello, a movie producer, have long recognized: the need for authentic leadership that puts America first. Josh's documentary, The Man You Don't Know, has amassed over 65 million views on X since its launch. It offers an intimate and authentic portrayal of Trump, revealing a side of him that resonates deeply with audiences, even winning over critics like sports correspondent Stephen A. Smith amidst California's ongoing challenges, including the devastating fires. And he goes off on the governor and Mayor Bass. Listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say.
You're my brother. You know I love you. And you know we talk a lot. We disagree.
Yep.
I think he's done. After this, I think he's done. Kevin, you cannot look at it. This is a natural disaster, I get. But it was exacerbated by clear incompetence.
And I want to welcome to the show the producer of The Man You Don't Know, Josh Macciello, and also a Los Angeles resident. Boy, Josh, we have a lot to talk about today. First of all, you've got the wrong hat on right now. Where is your Trump was right hat?
You know, I want to, first of all, thank you for having me. You guys are the best over there. You know, I'm showing support and love to everybody in LA through this devastating time. And, you know, like you just mentioned earlier, it's 24 lives, and I'm sure there's going to be more, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I just want to send our thoughts and prayers out to all those families who are dealing with that. You know, yes, he was right again, Stella. I mean, you know, and these are things that you don't want him to be right about because it's devastation. But, you know, Stephen A. Smith put it, well in that interview as well, saying he was told, Gavin Newsom, meaning this was going to happen. If you weren't prepared, something like this was bound to happen. And unfortunately, those folks that have been saying this was going to happen, it happened. And you got a mayor that happened to be out of town and not really showing any care. I mean, this is a disaster. It's a disaster at the highest level, Stella.
You know, when you have people like Stephen A. Smith waking up about the leadership in LA, that's really huge. I mean, you have a state that's really expensive. Then you have the crime. Remember the smash and grabs, the homelessness, the welcoming of the illegals, and then now these fires. And I think many are finally saying enough is enough.
Well, the day after the election, I was in Beverly Hills at El Pastel, one of my favorite restaurants. And I never saw so many red MAGA hats in California at one time. So I realized then maybe people were starting to wake up. And now, as President Trump keeps gaining these parts where he's right about certain topics, I'm starting to see folks like the Stephen A. and other folks starting to come to our side a little more and more than I anticipated. I thought there was going to be a stubbornness by a lot of people that weren't going to allow them to say Trump was right. But he's starting to, on a large scale, be right in many ways. And maybe perhaps people will give him a fair shake this run and start listening, because the man's policies, whether you don't like the man, they work. And it's been proven that they work. I mean, you live in this state. I mean, this is the most beautiful state in the country. I'm a New Yorker saying that, and it is from top to bottom, but the politics are what's ruining it. And if we can get things in aligned politically, you'll see the people start feeling a lot more safer and not so scared that things like this can happen.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because a lot of people from out of state tell people like us, why are you still living in the state of California? And you bring up a good point. California is a beautiful state. It's not our fault. It's the politics, but elections have consequences. So to see that more and more people are waking up, I guess that's good news. I mean, LA County could have had Rick Caruso.
Well, maybe Rick Caruso now can be in a bigger position of having the state of California that he's representing rather than just LA County. I mean, when you think about the state can't find $24 billion, Stella, that, it was supposed to be used for homelessness. And, you go outside my doors and there's still a lot of homeless folks out there. Doesn't look like things are getting done. And you start thinking, well, how does that have to correlate to the fires and what you're talking about now? Well, a lot of these fires get started, in those homeless camps. I mean, it happens. I mean, I live here, and I got my ear to the ground. And unfortunately, until something's done about it, my brother-in-law used to always say, people vote with their feet. When people start voting with their minds, then maybe California could be the best state in the country where it deserves to be.
You know what I noticed today during one of the press conferences, one of the local, I think it might have been the police chief, I don't remember who it was, he said, our unhoused neighbors, because the winds are supposed to pick up again, and a lot, like you say, a lot of the homeless people, they start the fires in LA, and he said our unhoused neighbors, and that got me thinking, I'm like, instead of changing language, calling them unhoused neighbors, change the policies.
Stella, if we look at all the money we sent overseas, because we're Big Brother, and I get that we're supposed to help, but I still believe in my heart the same airplane analogy that before you put the oxygen on somebody else to help them, you got to help yourself to get oxygen. I think America needs to start adapting that mentality, because until we're whole, we can't be useful to anybody else. And right now, we're a broken country. So I'm praying that a week away, everybody gets on board with the greatest president of all time, and we basically make America great again. I mean, the slogan's got to be there. I am so sad, and when I go and see my friend, I mean, I have, and I'm sure you do as well, a dozen friends that lost their homes and pets.
It's devastation.
And it's devastation. So, hopefully this is a wake-up call. You do get what you vote for, and unfortunately, this is what people voted for. And I see the folks that I'm talking to who are hard liberals starting to back off that stance and saying, hey, we might have made a mistake here. I mean, the owner of the LA Times this morning came out and said that he regrets voting for the mayor and doesn't have the same support. So these are the kind of things that need to happen.
Yeah, I saw that. Speaking of the greatest president, where can people see The Man You Don't Know?
Oh, you can see The Man You Don't Know. Elon Musk has it up on X still, and you also can see it on Identify. And we have some other platforms that we're very, very close to having deals closed on. So The Man You Don't Know about the greatest president of all time. And then you're going to see Stella Escobedo and Josh Macciello freezing their buns off at a inauguration, probably 28 degrees, what we love.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so we're taking a look at a preview of that movie. It did pretty well, the documentary, and then Elon Musk shared it. It got like 60-something million views. So if our viewers want to see it, they should check it out. It's really the story of the man you don't know.
It tells you what Donald Trump is all really about and not what the media portrayed.
Absolutely.
And we got some exciting other stuff that we're probably, going to be working on overseas. I can't give it away, but you'll be the one to report it when it's ready.
Thank you, Josh. Josh, be safe in LA. Good to see you. Thank you so much.
Stella, before I go, shout out to all my Israeli people. You guys are fighting a good fight for everybody. There's a line of defense of people wanting to end our Christian and Jewish ways. And I give a shout out to all my Jewish folks that are still waiting for some people to come home.
Yes, the hostages. Thank you so much, Josh.
God bless you.
Good to see you. You too.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.